Hello and welcome to episode 37 of the Kicking Back podcast. Today I'm joined by John Ellis. Hello, John.
Hi, Brad. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm very good indeed.
Thank you very much for coming in today.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I'm already totally impressed by what you've got going on. It's all good.
Thanks,
Sure,
John.
yeah. Sure.
And of course we have the return of the Mac.
Come on.
Ah! No,
You lied to me.
we didn't even plan that. Nice. Of course we have Kirk McElhinney.
Mark attack. Hey, man, are you okay?
I'm good, bro. It's good to have you here, man.
Yeah, it's nice. Your new little setup.
Yeah, of course.
Great.
You were last here when we were in the garage.
Yeah. Just need a bed and a fridge, and that's it. You've done it, haven't you?
Well, the fridge
arrived.
was on the list of things to buy, but we spent too much money. So when we actually start making some money, we'll get a fridge.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's cool, man.
thanks,
Lovely.
man. Good to have
What do you say, a bed? Do you say a bed?
Yeah, you don't have
Bed
to
and a
move
fridge.
anywhere then, do you? You got a gaff.
You just live
You got
here.
your gaff then, haven't you? You know what I mean?
You sorted that.
No letterbox. You're right.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, we do technically have a letterbox as well, actually. So we've kind of got it all really, and a kitchen. The works.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
But you got a bed, and you're not coming here to DOS. You're coming here to do
Might do,
podcasts. Yeah, just come here from home and then just get straight into bed.
You could do a podcast from your bed, couldn't you?
You could.
Maybe.
That'd
You could
be
actually, yeah.
very chilled. Maybe
should
not
all
a
get
video one, just an audio one.
Top to tail.
Yeah.
You down there, me up here.
Four in a bed. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So, John, for the people at home that don't know who you are, this sounds getting in my bloody way. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is you
Yeah,
do?
sure. Yeah.
What's
well,
your
I-
name? Where'd he come from?
Yeah. What have you been doing? I've been doing music, for a living for like over 30 years. So, but I started, grew up in Middleton, like North Manchester, and we had a piano in the house and everything like that, and had a mess about and started messing around that. Got a few lessons, just the very basic classical stuff. I had that. I definitely had that my mum and dad were not pushing, but they're kind of like, come on, this is going to go for you piano lesson. At that age, I was about 8. He's just like, okay, whatever. It's just a bit of excitement. It's like getting me out of the house. Used to go to Oldham Coliseum. It's like ancient Victorian building. I remember I used to have to wait in this like reading room. It was like proper
Quiet.
Victorian, those reading chairs with where the
Like a wingback sort
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah, yeah.
It's awesome. It's like it's probably not changed since I don't know. Yeah, Victorian times. It felt like that. So that was good. I do appreciate that now. For the I always say about the piano, you need to get to know the geography of it. Because you got these black and white notes. It's not like a guitar where you can just move up and down. And It's got
Yeah.
the same shapes. Once you've got one shape, you can sort of adapt it. Every key's got a different bunch of shapes. That's what it is. So the scales and arpeggios and bo 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 be bo 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 and the scales they all helped. It's good to have that basic grounding in what a piano does and how it sounds. The arpeggios is basically chords. Later on getting to play chords. And then I just started playing all the instruments. There's a really good music education in Manchester, which I always credit with just giving me the buzz for music, because I didn't really like school that much, secondary school. Anyway, I was all right. I was pretty good, I could do it sort of thing.
Yeah.
But didn't really float me boat. And I started going to these Saturday morning, because I was playing the clarinet and saxophones by then. I went to this Saturday morning thing in Moston, where you have like bands, like concert bands they call it. It's like a sort of orchestra. Used to do all kinds of music, some orchestral music, but with a big ensemble. It's like brass instruments, no strings, but all the rest of it.
All right, yeah.
And,
Okay,
but with percussion and all the rest of it, and
How
big
old
sound.
How old were you?
First started going there when I was about 9, 10, I think, 10, Saturday morning. And, I'll never forget that, that's for sure. Just the first time I got in this concert band, so you got a lot of, probably about like 50 kids. And I was on that third clarinet and I couldn't play hardly any of it. It's like looking at it, it's like, oh, it's like this, it seemed to be going so fast. So
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it'd just be, I'd just play the odd note, no, boop, and then just as long as I could follow it after a bit, I would just start to fill in more and more notes. So about like the 5th, 6th week, I was putting in some more notes. Eventually, I could play the whole part, and then once you play the part, then you move up. If you're in there long enough, you move up to second clarinet. And anyway, I ended up being like lead clarinet of this band. Cool. But the first time that I was there, just the buzz of hearing them play together. They played this piece, and just like, wow, it was just overwhelming. Just music.
You still hear it now?
Wow, just inside, just this kind of, and I really, I think that's really hooked me in ever since. I always say I'm almost part of a religion of ecstasy. Do you know what I mean? Not the ecstasy tablets, but just I'm going. You kind of go in for that. It's like a direct communication with something
beyond
divine,
this.
really, or whatever you want to call it.
I got that, man.
And from that moment, that really hooked me in. It was like, especially because I grew up like Catholic community in Middleton. It's a beautiful community, and it wasn't heavy. It wasn't like monks and nuns. Like there's a couple of more fire and brimstone people, but I avoided them.
You always got a nutter in that.
That's true.
Clan,
yeah,
that's true.
But I had that background, but the music was like was the real stuff.
Yeah.
So it's actually, once I started getting the music, I started to move away from the church in a way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they had the thing of the confirmation you had in the Catholic thing, which is like when you're about 13 or something. The bishop comes and he anoints you. He puts, does the oil.
Oh yeah.
Go to the altar, and they were selling it in the school. They're preparing for it. They're selling it like something's going to happen. The idea is this is where the spirit lands in you for good, and then you're like a sort of almost like an adult in the church kind of thing. Then
right.
Confirmation, it's like they're equating it with the Holy Spirit coming to the apostles, kind of, and then they go out into the world and tell everyone.
Story.
Well, there's a kind of thing in it, but it's like a lot of all these things, the layers and layers. It ends up just being a facade of something. It's got no, if you go mine right into it, that's what I always say about the church. It's like the McDonald's of spirituality. I mean, it's like there is some nutrition in it.
Yeah,
it's so minuscule and it's filled with so much shit that is going to harm you, that in the end you better steer and clear.
Yeah, man. I got
anyway, they told me something was going to happen. That's the thing. They were making out you're going to get this. So I'm thinking I'm going to feel something. I was actually anticipating. Okay, let's see what happens here. What's going to happen when the bishop comes and does all this?
Yeah.
And of course, of course, maybe it does for some people, but it didn't happen for me. Nothing happened. But at the same time, with the music, plenty was happening.
Yeah.
So that's where I was going. And then after that, it was just trying to sort of persuade. There's a period where I had to sort of blag my way around my parents to sort of, because they wanted me to go to university. But from that point on, really, music was going to be it, And then, there's other things. I went busking. On Market, used to go busking on Market Street on my own, and then people were giving me money.
What, on the guitar?
On the sax.
On the sax, just shooting the
sax.
sax.
And then I played the guitar as well. I used to play the guitar with Matt Nixon. Me and him used to go busking on Market Street. But then you realise also you're not going to starve. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the bottom line. You're already building it up. Literally building it up from the bottom. I'm not going to starve. Okay. And also what the busking did was, Market Street, all these people running around frenetic in the especially in the lunch hour, or with like quite a lot of them with like furrowed brows, not that happy. They don't look like they're in a happy job. And so it's also, I don't want to do that. And I'm not going to starve. So that's a good starting point. Do you know what I mean? Just build it up from there. That's really what I did. And this is where I am today.
So you obviously just jump straight to
Get a bit closer.
Oh, is the mic, is it a little bit in the way?
To the left.
Oh, is it
right.
Is it the top bit that's getting in the way?
Step it up. How about there? Yeah.
Is that all right, James?
No, I'm going to go on camera 3.
Okay. James will sort it out
Okay.
anyway, but it's fine. So yeah, so you're a teenager, you know that music's your thing. So what's what was like the next step then? Where did you end up going from there? Then?
My friend had a band. His older brothers had a band. This was Matt Nixon who started Matt and Fred's. His older brothers had a band. And then his older brothers sort of grew up, moved away, and we sort of co-opted the band. That was one of the first bands that I was in, my own. And then I sort of co-opted that sort of thing and made it sort of my own, really, and I started writing stuff for it.
Is that your big band?
No, that was way before that.
What was the band called, John?
It was called when it was his brother's band. It was called Bozo's Jazz Cellar.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not that nice, but that was the name. That was what it was called. But and then we called it Money Jungle. We had a band called Money Jungle, and then it's great. And I just started to get some gigs with other Manchester musicians. People wanted me to play with them,
Right.
so I was playing. And that early period, what I remember about that, that was my first. Most of the things, and it's been like that ever since, I had to go to South Manchester. That's where the action was.
Right.
You know, North Manchester. I found later on, when I first moved out of my house, my mum and dad's house, I got a flat in Crumpsall, and that was great. At the time, there was like a proper bohemia sort of thing in Crumpsall. Just off Crumpsall Lane, everybody was. It was really young. You know, didn't know what we were doing, but people were writing songs, some poetry. Songwriters, just all artists, you know, all really young. You know, there's a few people there that I'm thinking of that's still doing it. There's a guy there, Brian Glancy, who became the sort of that elbow thing, seldom seen kid. That was him. He died quite young. He has a heroin problem.
You knew him?
I did know him, yeah. So that's an example. I'm just of someone that was around that scene.
Yeah,
that got known. Unfortunately, got known after he passed away. Really.
Yeah.
But now in North Manchester, there's hardly. It's a bit of a sort of cultural desert. It's ripe for something, definitely, because like Cheetham Hill, there's so many different nationalities and stuff there.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm waiting for something to come out of Cheetham Hill.
There's a bit of, there's like the Yard, isn't there? That's kind of.
Well, I've been supporting them as much as I can. Yeah.
Yeah. So what sort of stuff do you do there? Because I know Joe quite well.
Oh, that's what you're thinking about the pod. I think is that what you're thinking?
I don't know. I just whenever I go there and speak to Joe, she always brought up your name.
I did at the end of last year. You know, there was not a lot going on, and they'd been trying to get me to do something there for like, I don't know, way before COVID.
Right.
They wanted me, and they were always saying, they were wanting me to do like a sort of Jules Holland show kind of thing.
Oh, right. Okay.
To present it, you know, and I was like, I don't want it, that's not me, you know, and I didn't want it to be. They kept doing that. It's like your show. You wanted to call they were trying to get me. You know, I don't think it was ever going to work properly because I don't think I ever really wanted that. You know, I would have had to have wanted that. But I did give it a go from like October, and it was good. It was good. Then I got a lot busier as soon as January kicked in.
Yeah, of course.
But I did about 2 or 3 shows with them where I was doing that. In a way, it was a good. I was sort of using it as a test for me to sort of see how little of a shit I could give, you know, being on camera. Do you know, in a sense, in a sort of vanity way, and to sort of break through that, you know, worrying about how am I coming across? How natural can I be?
Bollocks to all that.
Exactly, exactly. But you know, in the past, I've always been very sort of camera shy and just not really been a bit sort of intimidated by that sort of thing. When I was younger, do you know what I mean?
I get that, man. I mean, I was like that when we started this podcast. It was an idea for like, I think we were going to do like a Movember thing. We're like, right, we'll do this. We'll get different artists on.
Yeah.
I remember chatting with James, and then like, right, we need someone to host it. And James was like, "You're going to do it." I was like, "Am I fuck going to do it?" Like, I just threw myself into it, and he just like I think it is. I think you just have to give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? You have to be genuine, don't you? Otherwise, it's just like...
And you know when it's when you're ready to leap into anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's a brave thing, and I think to me it's a sort of necessary thing if you want to grow. Is you have to have the capacity to recognize when it's the right time to jump beyond your comfort zone.
Yeah.
If you never jump beyond your comfort zone, you're not really going to grow. And and I have always done that. I have always, there's a couple of like tours that I've done in my life, where I've just jumped into the unknown. Just jumped in. I'm doing this music. I've never done this kind of thing. I'm just jump in this van with people. Going to go around the world. God knows what it's going to be like.
So what sort of artists and stuff was that with?
When that sort of thing, when I've jumped into something unknown, I did this really good tour like 1999 of this guy DJ Vadim, and he had this band of Russian percussion. So it's like a hip hop. So we went all around Europe, Eastern Europe as well.
Right.
So it was. So I was playing live keys and like the bass line. I had two DJs who were providing some of the rhythm, the drums. They had a beatboxer, Killer Keller, who was got quite famous, and then an MC. He's brilliant. It was one of my. I really made a good friend. There's a guy from Washington called James. He was Blue Room. So I learned a lot on that, because I hadn't really been in the hip hop thing. Because my thing had always been live music, and playing and soul and jazz and rock and whatever.
Yeah.
And the hip hop thing, it's like, that's just playing records. You know what I mean? And words on top of it. But I kind of got into the Vadim with his music, but it was, it was a leap into the unknown. It was like, and I really felt grateful, after I'd done it, because especially going around Eastern Europe, it really showed me what it was really getting into the hip hop. I mean, even the guys that we were on tour with, they'd come from like the original sort of mostly London hip hop scene, but when it was proper, they'd felt it as it wasn't the bullshit kind of, bling and hose kind of thing that the record industry made it into. They'd got into it because it was real and it really felt like something in a community based, really. And then to go around Eastern Europe, you felt what it meant to people, all these kids, and there'd always be the artwork that was with it and the dancing and just this culture. I recognised it for what it was then, as a church almost, like jazz, but like a younger version. Like anything drum and bass, they form these kind of, it's a community situation, So, but yeah, I didn't. I learned about the background of hip hop and everything from just being in the van with them playing tunes constantly in the van.
Yeah,
and it's great, because you're feeling their enthusiasm. But yeah, that was definitely a leap. Yeah, so every now and again, it's good to do something like that.
Yeah, definitely, man. So, what sort of stuff are you up to these days, then?
Well, I've got the studio in Middleton, Limefield. So. I've been making albums and music with people there for over 15 years now, and I tried to sort of get a label thing going probably about 10 years ago.
Right.
But I found that it was just too much to do as one person. What was required to get a label going, just communicating with people like this, in fact, like things like this, or just following up. People send you an email, following up opportunities, keeping the ball up. That's what I would say, because it's about momentum. I found that when I was on my own, it was just impossible, because at the same time, to fund my existence, I was having to do gigs and stuff. That was my life of earning money that way. So as a musician, then, you're going off and playing and doing a festival, whatever. And I can't do anything without being totally absorbed in it. That's kind of what I do,
Yeah.
And then, you're traveling somewhere, and then your mind is off the off the trajectory of what, if you've got another thing, if you're trying to launch a business, basically, aren't you? You're trying to launch something. I just ended up dropping the ball too many times. I've realised that since. So now I've restarted that. That's the point. And a friend of mine who I'd made an album with, became friends really when we were doing that. John Haycock is this lad from Salford who plays the kora. It's like an African instrument.
I saw some videos of him. I think maybe it was on the Limefield. I think I've seen. Does he play in like Piccadilly and stuff
Yeah,
like
he does.
that?
Yeah,
I've seen them around.
Yeah. And his teacher plays in Piccadilly. Charlie is African.
Yeah,
guy.
I had to listen to his. He's got like a little EP out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Called, what is it? What's it called? So I've got a blue album.
In a bloopy mood, it's called.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, man.
Yeah.
So did you record that with him?
I'm not sure if we did record that at mine, but we put it out on Limefield. It's a vinyl. It's a 7-inch.
Oh, cool. Nice.
But we've done an album together, which is completely finished. We're just waiting for the vinyl to be. It's like another 2.5 months before they'll finally deliver it, because there's a massive queue at the minute. Anybody who's trying to get vinyl done knows that. So he's in talking to him about how we were going to get this album out that we'd worked on. He suggested, what about just releasing it through Limefield as well? And I was saying, well, I kind of stopped doing that. I put that on ice, about 8-9 years ago. And he's, and I said, well, I couldn't do it on my own. And what I'd always been looking for is someone at the sort of front end of it. That's what I always was saying. Any self-employed person could do with this, which is just someone who's on the laptop a couple of days a week, just having that conversation with the outside world, because what had happened 8 years ago, I just told myself, okay, I'm just going to make the pie, as I called it then, just get the music to the finished point, the mastering point, give it, they pay me for studio time or mixing time, whatever, give them the finished product at that point, and then they got to take it from there. So I didn't promise anything about promotion, nothing. I couldn't do that. I took a back seat from anything like that.
Right.
Because I realized I couldn't do both, But now with John, they said, well, I'll help you. I'll come in with it. And it's just been so much better. Like I say, I've realized just having another person there, how much I was losing momentum when I was just doing it on my own. Because, just phoning each other every day or so about what's happening, it means I'm not losing track of what's going on, what opportunities are there, how we can move it on. That's it really, and if one of us goes on a bit of a dip, we don't drop the ball then either, the other person can pick it up.
That's it, man. So how many artists have you got? Are you signing artists, or are you just doing albums off the label, or what's the plan?
We already, because like I said, I'd done quite a number of years without putting things out officially. I've actually got quite a hefty back catalogue, well, I don't know I've got about 9 or 10 albums that I'm going to start putting out from the back catalogue. But
cool.
Also I've got the new stuff that is ready to go out that has never seen the light of day ever. So I've got this one with me and John, Kirk's one was out this year. I've got this, I'm working on this thing with a Manchester poet called Mike Gary. He's pretty well known. He's like, as poets go, he's a professional poet. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Already making money out of doing it.
He did the Manchester bomb poet, didn't he? Manchester.
He did the one about Tony Wilson as well. He was a number one, actually. It's a number one hit.
Was it?
Yeah, what was it called? That one about, it was like a Mank-tastic production. It was like Sean Ryder was Loads of people did a different line of the poem.
Yeah,
Like, it's all like the usual suspects. Terry Christian.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Yeah, the word.
Yeah, everybody did a different line, but it was his poem. Anyway, he's done a really beautiful album. I was mixing it last night with Will, the engineer at the studio. It's with him and a string quartet, and then me putting stuff on top of it. And actually, we've got Rob Turner's played some drums on it. That's sounding really good. So there's new stuff and there's old stuff. Basically, that's the answer.
Is there stuff we can pull up on the Tinter webs?
Yeah.
Are we on the site here?
That's the Limefield site. So that's got a few things. Yeah. So there's John's at the top.
Oh yeah.
That's John's. Well, that's a picture of John. That's not his album cover. And then next to that, the blue and white one, that's the Oldham Tinkers, like these really old guys.
Yeah, so who are they then?
They won't mind me saying that. They were like, they're sort of like folk legends. They did, they're pretty well known in British folk. So they did a lot of albums on Topic Records, which is like a British folk label that started in like the 50s, I think.
Right.
But I've got a long sort of history with them. There was like a folk session in Middleton, there still is, and I used to go to it on Monday nights. I used to like it because it wasn't my field. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I used to go down and it wasn't like, there was no, I could listen to it. You know, when you kind of, or at least then, when something is in your field, you're kind of a bit more picky about.
Yeah, you sort of critique it.
Yeah,
you
know. So I liked going to the folk nights because that sort of fell quite a bit more outside of my. Now I'm kind of a lot more savvy about that world in a way. But I used to go down there, and one of the guys that was there was one of the fellas from the Oldham Tinkers. This guy called John Howarth, who's an amazing character. He's just great. He used to do some like monologues, you know, those kind of folky monologues, you know. The day war broke out, you know, that kind of stuff. But amazing. It's an amazing storyteller, you know.
Okay.
I was going to try and do it. I'm not even going to. I wouldn't.
Go.
No way that I could do John Howarth justice. There's a couple of monologues on that album. I brought one actually for you. I've got a present for you.
Ooh, I like presents.
That'll be done, isn't it?
Yeah,
Presents are cool, man.
Oh.
So that's.
So is this is out then?
This is out. That came out like about 4 weeks ago. So that's the Limefield thing. So that sort of just dropped in our lap. You know, we were already gearing up to put other things out, but it's
good, man, isn't it? It's deep, isn't it?
I feel like
you've heard it then, Kirk.
Yeah.
The reason
I know them anyway.
I really appreciated them coming to us. I mean, they came to us because they didn't have anywhere else to go, actually, because they went to Topic, which is their previous. Their label that had put stuff out since the 60s, and they didn't want to put it out because Topic now it's a sort of story about how Topic Records began almost as a totally kind of socialist, almost communist, coming from the Communist Party. Things were different back then. It's like the 30s, 40s, you know. People had. It was about soaking up, people going out there recording what was on the streets, you know, the music of the people, what people were making, and just guys going out with one tape recorder and a mic and just doing just what is happening, you know what I mean? And cut to like 2021, it's become just like all the rest, you know what I mean? Like a bank, it's become like Barclays Bank.
Right.
Yeah, because it's been assimilated by other companies, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, they didn't want to put it out. So, and we were already just starting to get geared up then as a label. So what I did was I mixed it. They didn't record it at mine, but it's pretty simple anyway. It's just 3 of them, guitar, mandolin, voice, a bit of concertina.
Right.
So I mixed it, but I also sequenced the track. I picked the tracks. They had about 25 tracks. I picked the ones that I thought would work together. And there's some amazing stuff on there. It's like, to me, it's like, it's like a message from the elders or something. You know, that's the way I feel it. You know, the songs that what they're singing about on that album. The first track is about called Alfin, which is about this mountain, this hill that's like between Oldham and Ashton. You can see it from a lot of parts of Manchester. It's not a massive mountain, obviously it's one of the Pennines, but it's a feature in the landscape. So that's one example. You know, to me, that's the depth of things on it. You know, something like that, it could be on an album of Australian Aborigines or something. You know, they're talking about the landscape,
right?
And they're talking about Alfin as a personality in that song. You are Alfin. You can see all around you, they say. And there's other stuff on it, like there's one about Annie Kenny. There's this suffragette, was from Oldham, but she wasn't sort of from a posher background like the Pankhursts. Nothing, they were fine, but she was for just an ordinary mill girl who'd like been through. She lost a finger in one of the machines, and everything. But she was really bright, and she taught herself, and she ended up becoming one of the heads of the movement in London. You know, so it's a song by these three Oldham guys. They're in the late 70s. I think one of them might be 80. I'm not even sure.
Right.
But talking about the women and the women's rights and the fight, the struggle, and all of this kind of stuff.
They're the real deal, aren't they? It's a beautiful thing when you see them live. You know.
Yeah, the real deal. And like I say, he's an amazing storyteller.
It's like a fine wine. You know, they've been doing it.
They've aged well.
But it's just in them. Do you know what I mean? When you're seeing you're not just seeing them for that 10 minutes. You're seeing them for what they've put in for the past 60 years. You can feel that. You know, you can feel it's a real.
It fitted into for me, like with the label. You know, like with the Cora, with John and Charlie, his teacher.
Yeah,
I've listened to a lot of music from around the world for like the last 20 years at least. That's been a big part of what I've enjoyed, and part of the reason I enjoy it is because a lot of that music, it's not been made like a lot of the Western music on some, like especially it's got more and more like that with the music colleges. People are making music with this sort of career path in front, you know what I mean? If we do this and we just got to get a website, we've got to do this, and then we get on this ladder and we do this, you know what I mean? We get on Radio 6, and I understand all of that, but I appreciate some of the music from around the world because it's been made for nutrition more than, you know, and it's like people need it, like music, and that's really what music is about for me. And I'm not saying people don't make music like that around here. Of course they do. You know, when me and you have been to a lot of nights, and we know that's the truth of it. You know, like you go to open mic nights or whatever, people are looking for something from the music and the sharing of it, which is about the community and human. It's a human thing. So with Limefield, all the press releases, even from when I first started it 10 years ago, I've always just been like, there's only one genre, it's like world folk, you know, music for the people of the world. And so having the Oldham Tinkers on there was great for me because it immediately stretched it out generation-wise as well, because that's a big thing in our society. I think there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
You know, we there's a massive undervaluing of you're not even using that resource of that old wisdom, you know, especially since the internet. It's like now we've got it all down, you know what I mean? We can, and they're a bit disconnected from that because they don't even know how to switch it on, half of them. Do you know what I mean? But so I like the fact of getting some really young people. So like the studio we've had recently, it's not coming out on Limefield because they've got some sort of trendy London label. They moved down to London, but this band called the Early Mornings were like a sort of they got it's a trio. There's a young woman playing guitar, singing, two lads, drums and bass, and it's like a bit like The Fall. You know what I mean? It's quite, but I really love them. It's got a bit of sense of humour.
Right.
Really, she's great. They're great, and the lyrics are great. Check them out. Yeah, the Early Mornings. Yeah. Nice. I would love to get them on the label if the label it's only a small label, I think, but if ever they didn't have a situation, I would love to get them on there. But they've done all of their recordings at my place.
Oh, nice, right.
And having that range is really important.
Definitely.
You know, and also I'm looking for music that's alive, you know. For me, yeah, it's like world folk. It's about music that is representative of time and place, do you know? So like it's coming up from the ground, you know. That's it for me, you know. That's what I'm trying to do with the label, you know.
Nice.
And so it's not an easy thing to
hit
sell.
the truth, isn't it? You're hitting the truth. That's what you're aiming for, isn't it?
It's not an easy thing. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to sell because it's like, what is this? You know, people come in, people like to see.
You can't pigeonhole it, can you?
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
But I've got what I feel is like there is a character that comes from, if you sample around the stuff that we've put out, you will start to pick up on what it is. There's a flavour to it. There's a, you know, the deeper you go into it, the more it rewards you. That's why, you know. Yeah. So it's a bit more of a slow burner, most of the things I'm doing. But
quality.
That's what I believe in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
I was going to, obviously, because you've got Kirk's album on there, I've listened the fuck out that album. I've absolutely battered it. It's great, man.
Oh, nice one.
Both of you boys did a great job. Well done.
Yeah, nice.
Well done. Bravo. I wanted to just like chat to you guys about that. The process and stuff, because it was quite a long, drawn out process.
It's like it was.
How long was it? What was it, like a year and a half, 2 years, was it? Was it
2.5?
More than that,
was it?
3,
yeah. I mean, I think, again, because for me, I was on my own with it, you know, in the mixing of it until the later stages. Then it was having to fit around me just surviving, you know, just doing gigs and other things. You can't. I didn't have it at a stage where I could just devote, but I think it's benefited from that as well. That has been up until this year. That has been my work method in a way, of like you have a go at it, you know, in terms of the mixing. Once we'd recorded the original tracks, you know, put a bit more on. What does it need? You know, there'd be like a month or two, and you go back to it, and then when you go back to it, those periods, those breaks from it really do pay dividends. It's a bit of a pain in the arse in one way, but they do pay dividends, because when you go back, it's like you see that, especially that first listen back.
It's fresh, isn't it?
Yeah, that first listen back, I would always be like super hypersensitive. Those first session back, I know I'll sometimes have a pad with me. Yeah. Because that first session back, I would know what to do. I've got to do this, we've got to do that, we've got to do that. And then you would work through that. And then maybe there'd be another break and so on, you know what I mean? So that's one reason to explain why it took so bleeding long.
Well, it's come out well, man.
Yeah.
It sounds great.
There's a lot of great people who've waved their magic over that album,
Yeah. So how do you two know each other then?
Just the music, innit?
You just know each other from.
You have to expand on that. Though.
Yeah, come on, Kirk.
Just through gigging. I wanted to record my first. I'd heard of this cat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'd heard of him a lot,
and then goes around, doesn't it?
Yeah, because he's the real deal. Do you know what I mean? He's Manchester's probably this country's finest musician in my eyes. You know what I mean?
Oh my God!
Yeah, man, you are, brother. You are a fucking next level musician. And quite in awe of his, when I used to see him play, it was like, fucking hell, he just plays what you want to hear every time, and he's just making it up, do you know what I mean? So there's some other voodoo shit going on with this guy. I don't know what it is, but his playing is exceptional. And then I heard he had an album. No, I heard he had a studio. So I had a few tunes, and I thought, I saw him at, where did I see? I saw you at Bloom gigging. You used to gig at Bloom, didn't you, in Altrincham? That little jazz cafe, that little jazz bar. And I'd be like the wild fucking pisshead in the corner, screaming along, fucking getting twatted on my own in the corner. I don't drink anymore, thank God.
I think it's Bloom that was the nail in the coffin of your drinking, actually.
Might have been, I think I used to balloon from Bloom. But so I'd see him a lot, and then just started chatting and saying, should we do these tunes, record these tunes, and then we just started gigging, really.
Okay.
getting him playing on the album, and then
That was the first album. That was the
the
first,
first
album.
one, yeah.
So Kirk had an actual trio, then a band, and the first album was pretty much just their sound with me doing some keys on top of it, and it's much more like a sort of classic. It's quite a not retro sound, but it's more in that sort of John Martin-y.
Well, it was more bandy, weren't it? We were gigging the tunes,
yeah. So with this new one, we wanted to expand the sound a bit and just have a bit of
bigger.
Yeah,
bigger. Just
I don't know. We were talking big things, but but actually the way that it big panned out was like it didn't always pan out the way we wanted. Like first of all, I thought. Because it's funnily enough,
always sing the Spanish Fly. Do you know that tune?
That's for us when we're
fucking up.
Yeah, yeah, when you know, like the big plans go to like just two bumbling idiots. But I actually started Kirk's album at exactly the same time as I started the album with John Haycock. That is yet to be released.
Which is an amazing album.
It is amazing. I'm really proud of that one. Yeah, that is really different.
That is a trippy, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a beautiful.
I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link to that. You can have an exclusive listen.
Ooh,
yeah,
that'd be awesome. Great, man. Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
But both of those albums, I had this sort of idea that I was going to do it first time to do things to a click.
Right.
You know, that means, you know, so you do it to a metronome. You know what it is, but some people out there might not know it. But
did we do it to a click?
We did, yeah. But I mean, it ended up being a complete nightmare. It ended up being
clicks, man.
Yeah, it ended up being a really useless idea. And it did pay off a little bit actually when we got Mikey Wilson.
Yeah.
So
who's Mikey Wilson?
It's worth mentioning. I'm glad you asked that. So
drum roll.
Yeah. He's a fantastic drummer. So we started off, I just got Kirk to do his sing and play the guitar and just recorded that. That was the bedrock of it.
Did you track that at the same time? Or did you track the guitar and then track the vocals?
We did them at the same time. Yeah.
Right,
and then some of them we did extra, we did vocals afterwards. I think we did anyway. Yeah, we did because it affects the way that he plays. You know, I know that I would have wanted to get it like that.
What are you saying? Did I sing and play at the same time?
Yeah, when you recorded it.
Yeah,
right.
And then I got Mikey Wilson. He's this fantastic drummer. He's a really good friend of mine. He's a beautiful guy.
That was the change, wasn't it?
He's even more. He's older than me, but he's been in Manchester music scene for so long, and he's just like a world-class drummer. He plays with like Corinne Bailey Rae now,
he's heavy,
but like me, he's never ended up moving to London. Do you know what I mean? He's always been around here. He is very heavy, and he really showed how amazing he was because I booked him and a friend of mine, an engineer that I knew worked really well with him. Yvonne Ellis is no relation to me, but I booked her as an engineer. Because I knew that she knew how to get the most out of Mikey.
Right.
And I booked 2 consecutive days for him to play the drums on Kirk's album and John Haycock's album. And no kidding, most of the drums on Kirk's album is Mikey. And that was the first time he'd heard any of those tunes. Most of them, you know, that in that day, I mean, some of them might have been like second or third take at most.
Yeah.
But he'd never heard the tunes until that day, you know, and what he plays on both albums, same with John's album, what he plays on both albums, he's incredible. No one else could have done that I know. And I played with a lot of drummers. No one could have played it like that. You know, with the life. It's all about the life, getting the life in the music.
Yeah, good move that. That was your call, that.
Yeah. So we got that down, and
because
then
weren't we going to program them on just like a little keyboard, the drums?
We had some ideas of doing
some mini drums.
We had some idea. I wanted to make it a bit.
Paul McCartney, didn't we do it ourselves? But
I had an idea of.
I realised I'm pretty fucking shit at all the other instruments.
Right,
I can barely play the guitar, but
I had an idea of doing it more electronic. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But I have done stuff like that in the past, but it's a long time ago. And then when I got onto the computer, I just realised. You know, like, do I really want to be sat in front of a screen doing this with this music? It's not the life, you know. And when I've my best friends, some fantastic musicians out there, and I knew that we could just like, you know, let's get a bit of money together. It wasn't nowhere near what you should be paid in a world scale. and let's just make this happen, you know. And it was like, yeah, of course we should. This is bullshit, you know what I mean? It's like, beep, boop, doop, 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 you know, like on a screen, moving things around.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
nah.
Tedious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, no way. So that's what happened. And then there was just like, after that, just 2 years, we just faffing around, all kinds of bollocks before we actually got the thing out. Eventually, I finished a bunch of all the mixes, and it was sounding good, but there was a finishing process that the mastering guy, which is a friend of ours, a friend of Kirk's, an old friend of Kirk's, he ended up sort of taking my mixes and just because he's really super high end mixing engineer.
I'm so blessed, man. I'm so blessed with this album.
What's this guy's name?
Dave McEwen.
Dave McEwen.
Yeah, he's an Australian guy.
Right.
But he's working in London with he's been just working on like Sting's musical. He's like been meeting Sting.
Shit,
So
right.
you have to be like really he's just like really super on it.
Works with Nitin Sarni. Have you heard of Nitin Sarni?
No.
Nitin Sarni. He's kind of his sound man. But he's
really super professional, uber professional level. And I'm not saying that I'm
what the
not.
fuck he's doing with me? It gets bad. Yeah, of course you are.
I'm not saying I'm
Of course
not,
you are,
but you know, on the audio level, it's like I'm just looking for like let's make it work. You know what I mean? I'm a production person in the sense of ideas and also just getting to the finishing line. You know, that's a big part of being a producer in anything, film, music, is just get the bleeding thing finished, get it out of the door. You know, because so many people don't finish things. I myself, my early years, I was the same. And you got big ideas, everything's got to be right. And so anyone out there who's trying to record something, don't just get it finished, and then you can make the next one. Some people spend years and years making that because they want to make it. This is my album. I'm going to make it the absolute ultimate. It's got to be fantastic. It's got to be the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And they never even finish that one. So it's just, you've got to finish that one and then you can make another one. You know, it's like, just get the bleeding thing finished.
Definitely, man. And there's a thing of like, you know, doing it and making the mistakes and then just learn from that and don't make the mistakes in the next one.
You've got to be able to let go. You've got to be able to let go. That's
definitely,
different, So, you know, it's not always easy, and it can be torturous, and there's always tortuous times, like with Kirk's album, definitely, and all John's as well, you know. Yeah, it's like you start to think, oh my God, what's going on? Is this...
You did, man. You did all that work, really. It was your fucking... You totally produced that album, you know what I mean? It sounds great. That's why it sounds awesome.
The arrangements, you know? But that end process of the hi-fi did really pull it off for Kirk's album.
Yeah.
It did work.
Yeah,
so you...
Devin,
he really gave it an extra kind of...
Yeah, he's got that
crisp
touch, and he's got the gear as well, and he's got the know-how, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But God bless him, he stuck to the arrangements and the mixes that we'd done. But
changed one track.
He changed one track, which was great as well. So again, that's what I'm saying. A lot of great characters put their magic on that album.
Yeah.
Cool. And in terms of what did you play on the album? Because I remember when Kurt was telling me about it, it seemed like it was like fucking everything.
Loads of shit, loads of stuff, like, you know, obviously the keyboards, the bass, some bass.
The bass. There's some of the bass playing on that album. I don't know if it is you or if it's someone else. Did you do all the bass playing on it?
Not all, but some of it.
Some of it's fucking unbelievable.
Not the
man.
double bass playing for starters. There's a couple of double bass.
Neil's on it, isn't he?
It's Neil Fairclough.
Oh yeah, The really unbelievable track is Neil Fairclough.
Is that second track?
If it's like really fast, kind of.
It might be.
Anything that's like technically sounds really, really hard. It won't be me.
You played on.
Is it on Love Will Find a Way? Or Is he on that one?
He's amazing.
That's the only one he played on. Yeah.
I got him. He plays with Queen.
Yeah, no, he's a good man, isn't he?
He's amazing.
He's off with Roger Taylor at the minute now.
Yeah.
It's fucking
really.
Yeah, radio.
So I grew up with him.
Right.
Yeah, he's amazing. I grew up with him in music. You know, in Manchester, we were playing in the same bands, and you know, this is another one for anybody out there that, because for years I was one of the first ones who started to get tours away and going abroad and all these fancy places and stuff. And then a few of our mates started to get similar things, you know, and some of them moved to London and stuff. Neil, nothing happened. and everyone knew, all of our peers, you know,
Jedi.
knew that he was just like phenomenal talent, but he was still stuck in Bolton, you know, and it made me sad. I remember quite a few times I'd meet him, and you know, I wouldn't even know what to say, because I would just say, look, you know, something, you know, you should be out there, man, because I knew he was world class.
Mm.
And in the end, he gets the biggest gig out of any of us, you know,
Yeah.
which was actually his dream. He loved Queen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So actually, he ended up, he's because Brian May and that, they've forgotten stuff that he can tell. Brian May said, what did I play in this song? And Neil's show him how to do it. He's
Yeah.
amazing, yeah.
Nice one. So, what have you got in the pipeline with the studio at the moment?
Well, we've just got the high-speed internet, like I told you, after our internet saga that's rolled on. So we're going to start doing live streams, yeah.
Cool.
Live streams, live
Lime
them.
streams. Are you going to call them lime streams?
We should do, shouldn't we?
That'd
It seemed
be-
like the obvious thing to
Yeah,
do.
it's given to you there,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I like that.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think someone's done a logo, though, calling it Limefield Live.
Sack that off. Live streams, isn't it?
Lime streams, yeah. So that's I really like I really like the live stream model thing. You know, there's a lot of things in music, you know, over the last 18 months that have really been encouraging and inspired me. I think there has been a sort of bit of mini revolution that has gone on.
Definitely, man.
You know, a lot of it is about reevaluating old models of what success is. You know, so if you want to be a millionaire, you know what I mean, that's one thing, and you know, and have like a massive mega hit, that's one thing. But if you want to get an audience and get be true to yourself, get an audience and develop that audience, and then get enough revenue to be able to make another album or another EP, another songs, whatever, that is some kind of success.
Definitely,
you know, if you
man.
can live, you know, and be able to make more music, happy days.
Yeah.
That's my definition of success these days, you know. So,
Yeah, man.
and this is what I'm saying, is if there's enough people in my orbit that are already have done that up to varying degrees, you know, part of it is around vinyl, stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and there's the social media side of it, but with the live stream thing, I like and we just told you we spent a long time with Kirk's album and John's album, years, you know, making it, and I like that process. We just talked about it, the crafting of it, shaping
Chipping
of
away, yeah, man.
it. Yeah, and it is wonderful and so rewarding eventually, you know. But the live stream, I like just this crash bang wallop, you know.
I like that element
It's
as well,
great.
man. It's there and then it's gone.
Yeah,
isn't it?
innit?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I like the fact that the person on the desk is also part of the creative thing then.
Yeah.
So from the point of view of the studio, we've got a lot of nice outboard gear there, you know, what, like the stuff that isn't computer plugins and stuff to affect the sound. So what I like about it is, this is my plan anyway with the live streams, is it's like anything else, the more you do, the better you get.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll record all the live streams, and then we can put those out in Bandcamp as audio, because we'll be trying to get the best audio. You're trying to get the sound like a proper broadcast sound. You've got some energy in it, some life in the sound. And then the very best ones, this is what I like about the vinyl model as well, because, you know, nobody wants more plastic in the world as such. Everybody knows that the problems with that. So if you're going to get a vinyl album and the plastic made out, you know, then it's got to be the very best stuff. It's almost like an offering then, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so the very best, you know, those kind of sessions that we do where people are like, you know, that is the same, you know, when you do that kind of gig or that performance, and it's like everybody knows it's around there, even the bar staff or whoever's there, whatever. Wow, that was a good one. That, you know, something really happened there. Something actually happened. That'll be the one that will press onto vinyl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
So there's a I like that workflow. It hasn't happened yet, but that's what I've appreciated.
Yeah, I like that, man.
That idea. It makes the vinyl thing, gives it a purpose and a meaning that, you know,
Cool. Who are you doing the vinyl stuff through? Have you got like a producer that does it for you, or
What do you mean? Who's
is
actually
that
pressing it?
Yeah,
up?
who's pressing it for you?
Well, there's various people, but the one we've gone with for mine and John's album, you get these. There's a few people that are called who sort of like vinyl brokers these days.
Right.
So they're like middlemen,
yeah.
and they're dealing with different pressing plants, and depending on what you want, what kind of artwork you want, what format you want, they'll find the pressing plants wherever that may be. Usually outside Britain at the minute, but I've got a feeling that that Britain will start to. There must be people. I know there are people now starting to do that again in Britain, because for a long time a lot of places got rid of their cutting lathes. The place in Salford, which I always used to, first vinyl I ever got pressed up when I had my 12-piece band, the Big Bang. It was like a Pure. It's called Pure Music from Salford.
Right.
They're still going. They're in Bexley Square, just off the Crescent there. But they got rid of their lathe like 15, 20 years ago. But now I bet they're regretting that. I bet they wish they'd still had it. But, and most of the British places did, so it became a thing that you outsourced to Europe. But I imagine after the Brexit thing, it's like,
hopefully,
it must be costing. They must have put the prices right up because you've got to import all of this stuff.
I'm really interested in the 3D printing side of it, because that's becoming more of a thing now, and they're starting to make them out of recycled plastics.
Fantastic.
And like be able to 3D print. They're not like quite as. It's still in development.
It's got to get the quality.
The quality is not quite. It is coming though. Like I remember researching into it.
That's
like
the dream.
Years ago.
That's the dream.
Yeah. So I'd like to see that come into it, because then it kind of eliminates that problem. And I like the idea of being able to reuse it and turn it into this piece of art.
Man,
you know what I mean?
Well, it is the human thing that is pulling people back to it. It's an artifact. It's like, I've been amazed that people still want CDs. They still want something
physical.
In their hand, But the vinyl thing, because the artwork's bigger, it's just a beautiful thing. And so, the mine and John's album, I realised, if you're going to do vinyl these days, you've got to make it for total vinyl perverts.
Definitely,
you know what I mean?
man.
So it's like 180 gram vinyl, this like lush artwork. We almost got a gatefold, but the price was going to be so ridiculous because it's only a short run. It's like 250 quid. 250 records. That's what we want. And it's worked out about 1,500 quid just for that. That's without a gatefold. The gatefold would have been about, I don't know, 1,800 or something.
Right.
So it's like, we don't want a gatefold that much. That was where he drew the line. But everything else was like, it's got to be right. We've got some really good artwork. I like the artwork.
Your cover's outstanding.
Yeah. So that's the thing, because I really like the vinyl community in that sense, that I've seen that as well. That one thing about the vinyl people who are buying stuff, a lot of it is like them just music lovers.
Yeah.
And it goes cross genre. There's quite a lot of people out there now that they're not bothered about the genre as such. They just want something that sounds good and that is obviously well made, and that's what they're interested in. And I really like that, because it's like about pure sound, and it's not a massive community, but if you can get the message to them that you're producing good quality stuff, and they start getting the idea, they will come back to you.
Yeah, man.
Do you know? And that's what I'm just on the beginning of that journey with it.
That's exciting, man. It's really exciting.
Yeah.
So when are you planning on starting the live streaming thing? Is that in the next few months, you think, or is it
definitely? Well, I've got one, because one of the bands that have recorded at Limefield is this crazy ska band called Baked a Ska that we've. It's like 11 of us.
I've heard of them. I've never heard any of the tunes.
It's just crazy. They've got some great original stuff. I'm going to get them to do an entirely original album in the new year. But because the albums are like mixtures of like covers, like mad covers, and then
such a great band, stuff. Man.
But it's just really entertaining band.
Great live band.
Great musicians.
Right.
Great musicians.
Great, yeah.
I'm trying to steer more in like the Ian Jury and the Blockheads kind of way, doing original stuff.
Are you playing at Band on Wall at Christmas?
We are. It's not Band on the Wall. It's at the Yard actually, because Band on the Wall is putting on the gig. but we've got.
Because it's not open at the
Hey,
moment.
man,
That's right, yeah.
Go to that gig if you can at
So
Christmas.
when's that?
So we've got one at the Yard on the 31st. We've got a Halloween gig because we basically made a Halloween album with them, right?
Oh, right, okay,
So
nice.
in answer to your question about the live stream, we're doing a live stream. The rehearsal for the Halloween gigs, we've got 3 Halloween gigs, is on the 27th at Limefield, and we're going to live stream that. That's going to be the first one.
Oh, nice.
So there's going to be 11 maniacs running around trying to learn this set. We've actually got someone's coming to Fate. It's going to be like in Halloween dress and everything.
Full whack.
So that's going to be that'll be entertaining because there's some good entertainers in that band. You
Right.
know, that are just good frontmen. There's about 3-4 frontmen. So they're all trying to vie for attention. So it'll be funny. It'll be worth tuning into.
Yeah, I'll
It'll be
definitely
chaos.
check that out,
Especially if you've
man.
got depression or something. Do you know what I mean?
It'll lift you up a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
man.
they're good. So that's the first one. Yeah.
Nice, man.
27th, that is. 27th. So probably from about midday, 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then is the plan to like just do it sort of
I want to do
Every
it monthly after
monthly?
that.
Cool, man.
Yeah. So yeah, live stream, as you said.
Live stream.
can
You've
change
got to
the
do
logo,
that, man.
yeah.
You've got to do that. I've been in your studio once.
Have you?
It was like a year ago. I don't think you were there. I don't.
Who was that with?
I can't remember. We were just filming some sax guy or something.
Sax guy.
Yeah, I can't remember what his name is now. Rob something. I don't know. Anyway,
Right, okay.
I love the building. Like the actual, it's a really beautiful
Yeah,
space.
unusual,
Man.
yeah.
Do you like own the building? Is that your
I only
space?
own that bit where the studio is. So
'Cause-
the bit where the studio is, that big room, was part of the big, massive house next to it.
Yeah, yeah.
So and so I only own the end bit, and the kitchen. There's a bedroom, and there's a converted loft up there that is like my room.
Yeah.
When I have to kip there.
James, can you pull up some pictures of the studio just to show people at home, because it's got a really nice aesthetic to it. Have you got a load of people helping you doing the filming side of stuff for the live stream, or?
Well, me and Will, the
You and Will are doing
engineer, we've got the we know how to do it. But I think when we do the live stream, we're going to have to get someone else, because I think we want to pay attention to the audio.
Yeah,
And we can't do both. So I've got a friend, Clive Hunt, who's that Busher man. He's on social media, who's been doing a lot of filming. He's done stuff for Band on the
Is he
Wall
getting on
and stuff
board?
for years. Yeah, I'm going to get him because he knows what he's doing, and he's Mr. Gadget. He's got some
Right.
sort of camera that will just sort of automatically follow people around and stuff like that, and stuff he
Ah.
can control by remote. And I don't know. He's always got some new gadgets on the go.
high tech.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
loves his gear.
And
Right.
his rum.
It's
And he loves
good.
his
It's
rum.
rum.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
He likes rum, man.
Have you been on a rum session
He
with him?
smashed my head out of once on rum. He brought it back from Jamaica.
Where was that? At my place,
No, that was at somewhere in Manchester.
right?
No, I remember. I just remember
What,
him
just in
pulling
his
the rum
house?
out. I just remember him pulling the rum out, and that was it.
Game over.
Waking up the next day, yeah. So Clive, but he's a great bass player, isn't he?
I think isn't his heritage like Barbados? I don't think it's
Or is it around
Jamaica.
there? It might be there.
Yeah.
There might be Barbados then, yeah.
So this
think
is
it
the
is, I'm not
studio,
sure.
isn't it? So that's the main.
Yeah.
You got the main room.
That's the
there,
main
isn't it?
room, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's where stuff goes on. Yeah,
yeah. Love it, man.
yeah. It's good. I think it's been getting better all the time as well. One thing the engineers really got going in there is he's got some really good room mics now. It's really because that really is the identity in a way, sound wise.
Yeah, it's a character, isn't
It's
it?
the
Yeah.
most characterful thing that is different, if you like.
Yeah,
that it's
definitely.
got. So you've got to maximise, especially these days. There's so many good studios in Manchester. It really is. It's been
Mm.
great. It's like when I was starting in music. That's partly why I got a studio. Is that there were a lot of people. Well, to have a studio, you had to have a bit of money to start with. So there's quite a few studios where they had the gear, but they didn't really have the musicality.
Right. Yeah.
So it was kind of a bad situation because you go in there, we'd be making music, go in there with it happened so many times, go in there with the band, try and record it, and it wouldn't come out. They just weren't able to soak up the energy that was going on, and that's what it's all about. But now, most of the studios that I'm thinking of, like the travelling bands, places like Pinhole, and they're kind of coming from a much more musical background, you know.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a great little studio for anyone at home that needs to record stuff. I think I really like the character of it.
Yeah,
I really, really liked
nice
it.
one.
I think we're going to have to wrap it up there, chaps.
Yeah, it's great to talk.
But is there anything that you want to plug to the audience at home? Anything that's coming up that you want to smash in their faces?
Just keep on. I mean, if you're interested, just the Limefield Bandcamp at the minute. We haven't got a website yet. We would like to get a website. Like to end up steering people there. But the Limefield Bandcamp is the place where we'll keep on putting stuff that we're sending out from the studio. And then, there's the Instagram where you can, if you're into Instagram, that'll keep on telling you roughly what's going on.
Cool.
And we got a Facebook as well. So all of that, Limefield, Limefield Records it is on Facebook and Instagram, I think.
Sweet. And what about you, Kirk? Any gigs or anything you want to plug?
Got an album launch coming up at Gulliver's.
Oh, have you?
Yeah,
What's-
the 29th. I think it's the 29th of January.
Oh, nice. I'll definitely be there,
Yeah,
man.
come down,
Is it
man.
going to be full band or the trio?
Yeah,
or?
trio, and
yeah.
John Haycock will be doing the support, I think. That
Yeah.
should be nice, just him on his own with his pedals and stuff.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
might
That'd
get
be
a few
lovely.
guests up, players
Yeah.
on it.
You need to sort of get minimum guest list for that because you're doing a 50-50 split.
Oh yeah,
So that's
you're all paying. If you want to get in,
That's it.
you've got no guest
You've
list.
got to be strong with that. You keep that
Oh
mentality.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I know you. I met you in
No.
'97.
Brutal. You've got to be brutal. Yeah,
None of that.
brutal. No guess.
Do I get on the guest list, Kirk?
Okay,
Or do I
no,
have to
we're out on the
pay?
spot. Yeah, you can. Yeah,
Not
the
even
camera's
in.
still
No
on.
way.
Once the
No,
cameras
I'll
are off,
pay,
you ain't
man.
getting anything.
I'll pay, man. It's fine. It's fine. Brilliant. No, it's been great to talk to you both today, guys. Thanks very much
nice
for
one.
coming
Awesome,
in. For people at home, this podcast is going to be out live. Well, I guess when you listen to it, it's going to be out on Tuesday evening. So I hope you enjoyed listening to it. We've got new podcasts every week. So subscribe to us on YouTube.
The man.
And we've got live sessions and all sorts of shit. It's great. Yeah, that's about it. So thanks once again, chaps. And we'll see you guys next week.
That's on my
Goodbye for now.
God bless you.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast to catch up on new episodes every week. Also, check us out on our Facebook and Instagram at RecRooms, where you can find out about our other exciting music series. We also have this and all our other episodes of the podcast up on our RecRooms YouTube channel for your viewing pleasure. See you next time.